good day! In today's video, we will be traveling down to Mexico so we can have the first cartoon appearance of that legendary super friend, El Dorado. So, alright, let's go! Yeah, so we start off in Mexico, amongst some ruins of an ancient Aztec city, where El Dorado is assisting some American professor of some sorts and his students by being a guide to the area. But disaster! A meteor came out of nowhere and is about to hit El Dorado and his friends square on. Which is, wow, really random and out of the blue, hey? But it gets crazier because that is no meteor, it's a frickin' spaceship! And there are alien pilots who step out of the spaceship and start walking around this Aztec city. And on top of that, these space aliens have some kind of heat vision coming from their eyes, and they start blasting a hole on the side of one of the pyramids. So El Dorado is not happy at all with the destruction of his people's temples, so he teleports over to confront these space jerks. And the confrontation actually worked out really well. These space aliens got totally freaked out. El Dorado grew in size, and these space aliens soiled their space pants, ran back to their spaceship, and took off. Gone. Which, kind of like, what? So these extraterrestrials flew to our planet from their planet, potentially from another galaxy. Who knew how long it took them to get over here, hey? Also, they clearly have some kind of a mission on Earth. I'm glad they didn't destroy more of the pyramids, but at the same time, I'm kind of a little disappointed in them. So seeing as nothing crazy has happened in this story, within the last 5 seconds, well, we need to fix that. And with that, an ancient mummified alien steps out of this new hole on the side of the pyramid. Holy crap, hey? What's next? The dude's gonna start speaking English? Well, turns out this ancient alien mummy starts speaking English and is completely furious. El Dorado's meddling has prevented this extraterrestrial species from taking over the planet Earth. What? There was a plan to take over the Earth here? What? How? Where? At the first sight of a human saying, no, you can't do that, the aliens took off. How is that an attempt at Earth conquest? Man, their plan must be so subtle that I'm completely blind to it. But, it doesn't matter because this alien mummy uses his mind control eye blast rays to, mind control the humans. And, that really sucks for our friends. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Superman and Wonder Woman receive a UFO alert. And seeing as this alert is originating in Mexico, they call upon Super Friend El Dorado, but unfortunately, they are getting the no response alert. Something is clearly wrong with their friend, so they go down to Mexico to check out what's going down. They notice that the alien mummy is making El Dorado and his friends build a spaceship out of stone blocks. Which is something I would probably expect to see more so on the Flintstones, than Super Friends. But this alien is from a space-traveling species, so I guess, what do I know? Superman and Wonder Woman try to stop this alien, but with his fancy necklace medallion, he turns the duo into gold statues. Holy crap, man, things have gotten from bad to worse. Suddenly, Wonder Woman contacts El Dorado telepathically to break the mummy's spell, and it worked! El Dorado escapes the clutches of the mummy and creates a projection of a double-headed dragon to freak the mummy out. He goes to the golden statues of Superman and Wonder Woman to help them out as well. With them, he confronts the mummy again, and Superman is able to use his heat vision to neutralize the mummy's powers. So they're just encased in gold and not actually turned into gold? Huh, that's quite convenient. But with that, the gold curse is removed, and the mind control is lifted off of the others, so all is good. El Dorado creates holograms to lure the mummy onto the spaceship, where Superman picks it up and throws it into space. Which, more than likely is not in the direction of the aliens' home planet of Oron, so this mummy will potentially be floating aimlessly in outer space forever. Or the spaceship wasn't completely built yet by the looks of it and might not be airtight, so he's probably gonna die pretty quick. Either way, we don't know and we don't care because the day is saved. Hooray! And with that, that is the end of this fantastic tale. Oh man, like that was fantastic! I can't believe how much this story went from 0 to 100, man. Like, things escalated so quickly. You go from having a nice little campfire to being attacked by aliens in like the blink of an eye, like holy crap! And being attacked by a giant alien mummy, no less, man. A very entertaining episode, I will tell you that. But speaking of this giant alien mummy, it is a pretty interesting thing to have this guy included in this story. So, there's like that theory about aliens coming down to the planet's surface, way back in the day. They built all the pyramids and all the ancient structures back in the ancient times, and then they left, But the interesting thing is, I guess in this Super Friends cartoon kind of universe, that theory is true then, hey? If there were ancient aliens that were hanging out in a pyramid for, thousands of years, I guess that's how it goes in this Super Friends world. And speaking of this cartoon, like El Dorado, man, we finally get to meet this guy. And this guy is pretty freaking awesome, hey? Like, holy crap, the amount of powers that he has. Jeez, he has a bigger power set than Superman does, really, right? So one of the criticisms of Superman is that he has too many powers, right? He can fly, he's super strong, he's got heat vision, super speed, he can breathe in the airless vacuum of space, and people say that's too much. So if we compare El Dorado to Superman, like, holy crap, man, El Dorado's got a ton of powers too. And a very diverse power set, no less. Teleportation, laser beams from his eyes, size manipulation, telepathy, creating hologram projections. Like, he's pretty awesome, but holy crap, that is a lot, hey? There are a lot of characters who have just one of those powers, and they're pretty cool. I'm thinking of the X-Men specifically, but cool powers nonetheless. With such a fantastic power set like that, there aren't too many situations that I can think of where, El Dorado would not be able to succeed. Well, outside of mind control, I guess. But still, he's pretty awesome. But with all that stuff, there's a lot more to talk about El Dorado and, ancient mummies and aliens and whatnot and all that kind of stuff over here. So yes, indeed, El Dorado. And in case you were wondering, yes, he was indeed named after that mythical lost city of gold called El Dorado. Or maybe it's not mythical and we just haven't found it yet, Nonetheless, this featured episode was the worldwide debut of the character El Dorado. He was part of the Hanna-Barbera initiative to create more ethnically diverse characters for the expanding roster of the Super Friends, which is a pretty hip and happening idea, right? But, it is a little funny, though, This initiative of new characters was introduced in Season 2 of Super Friends in 1977, and it took them until Season 6 to realize, like, holy crap, we forgot about the Hispanic guy. Well, I guess, better late than never, right? So, as I was saying earlier, man, El Dorado, like, holy crap, man, this guy is super powered, hey? So, like I say, he has teleportation, which is fantastic. He can change his size at will, which is, really awesome, but also, on the other hand, that's like Apache Chief's only powers. I don't get the redundancy, I guess is what I'm saying, El Dorado is also telepathic. He can shoot lasers from his eyes, kind of like Superman. And also with his eyes, he can create holographic projections. I'm not exactly sure how that's possible, but then again, I don't know how a character can fly at will. So, hey, what do I know? He is also incredibly knowledgeable about his people's history, going way back, like in this featured episode, he's talking about the Aztec people, being a guide to that professor and those two students. So that's really awesome. Like, I'm a history lover too, man, so I can totally dig it. But it is an interesting thing in this featured episode, right? Like, his knowledge of his people's past. Did he know that there was a alien mummy inside the pyramids, you know? Well, he does now. So why is he so incredibly powerful? That goes back to the creator of El Dorado, screenwriter David Villari. So David wanted a Mexican character that people, would look up to, would admire, would say, holy crap, that guy is super fantastic. Similar to how, like, people would look at Superman, like, holy crap, Superman can do anything. Superman will save the day? To have that kind of a character who is so highly revered, that's what he wanted for this El Dorado character, and boom, he got it. So pretty much for these new characters that Hanna-Barbera created, for the Super Friends cartoon, you really only seen them in the Super Friends cartoon. However, these characters did have different variations of themselves showing up in other shows. Not exactly the same characters, but a homage. And this homage for El Dorado happened in Season 2 of the show Young Justice, where indeed there was a young character named El Dorado, and he has the power of teleportation. So not every single power that the original El Dorado has, but hey man, still teleportation, that's nothing to sneeze at, But unlike the other characters, he actually did make it into DC Comics. So in the comic books, El Dorado first appeared in Suicide Squad, Most Wanted, El Diablo, and Amanda Waller, number 5 in 2017. And in that, he was part of a superhero team called Justicia. Basically, like the Justice League of Mexico, which is fantastic. Like you have the Justice League America, you have the Justice League Europe, you I guess technically had the Justice League Canada? So to have the Justice League Mexico? Yeah, man. Like, frick, every single country should have a Justice League. Like, that'd be cool. His powers were a little different in the comic books. Like, he was more like Superman. Like, he could fly. He's got more strength. He still has telepathy and teleportation, but he lost these size alteration abilities and his laser eyes. He's only had a small handful of appearances in the comic books, but at least, man, he's there, right? He lives beyond the Super Friends. So yeah, so for the rest of this episode, like the whole alien mummy bit and all that kind of stuff there. So essentially they are saying that aliens did visit our Earth cultures way back in the day and did help build cultures. We can even see this on the alien spaceship when it first lands in front of El Dorado and his friends. The designs of the spaceship do have Aztec designs on it, right? Like those serpent heads there. And that serpent head is a depiction of Quetzalcoatl, who is one of the Aztec creator gods. So a very important figure to have on a spaceship, which kind of suggests that these aliens had this art design first. Kind of like that movie Stargate, when aliens visited ancient Egypt and those ancient Egyptians copied everything from, those aliens. Kind of a similar deal that is depicted in this featured episode. Also for the fact that there is an alien mummy inside one of these pyramids, man. Like, as he says, he's been in there for hundreds of years, What the heck this guy was doing for fun inside a pyramid for hundreds of years? I don't know, man. He kept himself occupied somehow. So when people think of mummies, the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people is ancient Egypt. Very well known for mummification, but man, mummification happened all around the world, and it absolutely did happen in the Aztec world as well. So Aztec mummies were actually mummified more in a seated position, not so much in a sarcophagus, And to keep this seated position, these mummies were either wrapped in a woven fabric or had a woven bag, sometimes even tied with rope to keep that shape. So not exactly the way the alien mummy was kind of depicted with his mummification. That is kind of more the ancient Egyptian kind of way of doing it. If you do want to see some more movies about Aztec mummies, there are those legendary old school movies, The Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, and also Wrestling Women versus the Aztec Mummy, which I kinda do want to watch. Also, if you want to find out more about alien mummies in Mexico, well, you can find that in the news. Recently, scientists in Mexico have found what looks like alien mummies, or what's left of them anyway. Who knows what's really up with this, man? Like, are they legit? Is this just a big hoax? Maybe this featured episode knows more about what's going on than we do. But yeah, man, I'll leave it off with that. That's pretty much, the basic talking points about this fantastic new character, El Dorado. Some things about some mummies, and some things about some aliens and whatnot, right? It all comes full circle. So yeah, man, with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, 215 Comics. And currently, I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density. And recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastomorph, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel and some links at the end of the video. Yeah! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.